Hello, guys. Today we are covering 9-7 box and whiskers plots. And it's because the way the picture looks that it has that name. Okay, so box and whiskers plot is a way to display data on a number line by organizing it into 4 sections. What you'll notice is you have this first section, that's the first quartile, notice, and then you have a box. This box makes up the 2 second quartiles. So you have first quartile, second quartile, the third quartile, and then you have the fourth quartile. The first and the fourth are your whiskers. You have your box, and then you have your whiskers, hence the name box and whiskers. Okay, so now let's talk about each value. The minimum value is the smallest value. The lower quartile is the median of the lower half. Okay, so the lower half is this part here. This is the lower half. So the median of that is this right here. This is the third quartile. I'm sorry, that's the lower quartile. This is the lower quartile. LQ. The median is the middle value, but you have to make sure that they are in the order from smallest to largest. It's in the smallest to largest order. The upper quartile is the median of the upper half, which is from here to here. This is the upper half. So this right here is the upper quartile, and I'm using UQ for upper quartile. I don't mind using shorthand as long as we know what we're talking about. Okay, and then the maximum is the largest value. The quartiles, that is the 4 sections that make up the box plot. It's the 4 sections that make up the box plot. You heard me talk about those earlier. Big thing here, each section represents 25% of the data. So each section is worth 25%. Okay, now interquartile range. That is the range between BTW, between the lower and upper quartile. And that is IQR. It is the range between the lower and upper quartile or the box. It's the box of the box and whiskers. That's the interquartile range. So that is, let me highlight that real quick. That is this right here. That's my interquartile range. Okay, so now let's draw one of these. So we're going to first have to put these numbers. So it says the resting heart rates and beats per minute of a group of people are given below. Find the 5-number summary. That's sometimes what the box and whiskers is called. Draw the box and whiskers plot. So the 5-number summary is this, all of this right here. where we need, this is all the numbers we need to make the box and whisker plot. Then we answer the questions that follow. So the first thing we got to do is put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So we have 50, 55, 58, 60, 62, 64, 68, 70, 72, 76, 84, and 92. And now I'm going to count to make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Got the same amount, so these are my numbers. Okay, so now I need to find the minimum, which is the lowest. That's going to be 50. The maximum is 92. The median is what I'm going to find next, because that's the halfway point. There were 12, so 2, 4, 6. So that means the median is halfway between. So I have to find out what my median is, which is going to be 66, because it's between 64 and 68. Halfway between there is 66. Now, I need to find the lower quartile. Remember, that's the median of the lower half. So I'll look in here, and now I'm forgetting up here, and I'm finding the median of the lower half. Well, there's 6 numbers, so that means the median is halfway between here. So the lower quartile, LQ, is going to be 59, because we're halfway between 58 and 60. The upper quartile, now we look at just the upper half, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm finding the median of the upper half. Halfway between is here between 72 and 76. So the upper quartile is 74. Now that I have all of these numbers, now I can create my box and whiskers. So I'm gonna plot a point at each one of these. So I'm gonna have, and I'm gonna create my graph. So I'm gonna go my number line. There's no numbers on here. I don't need numbers from 1 because my numbers are all the way from 50 to 92. So I don't need to start at 1. I need to start where my data is. So I'm gonna start at 45, and I'm gonna go by 5s all the way up to 105. And renumber those 45. 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, and 105. And now we plot the points. So we have 1 at 50, and we don't put it on the line, we put it above the number line. We need 1 at 59, so that's not going to be right on 60, that's just before 60. I put another dot at 74, no, 66. Put another dot at 66, so that's just past 65. And then I have 1 at 74, so that's just below 75. And then I have 1 at 92, so that's halfway between, or just below halfway between 90 and 95. Now, the whiskers, remember, that's between, if I look up here to remind myself, the whiskers are between the first 2 dots and the last 2 dots. And then my box encompasses the rest of it. And the median is in the middle. So you can either start by making your whiskers, or you can start by making your box. And then the median goes through the middle. And there's my box and whiskers. Okay, now we're going to answer a few questions. What is the range? The range, again, that's from the biggest to the smallest. So I'm doing 92 minus 50, which is 42. What is the interquartile range? Remember, that's the box. So that means I'm doing the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So I'm doing 74 minus 59, which gives me 15. Then we have what percent. I'm talking about percents now. So my answer better have a percent symbol. What percent have a resting heart rate less than 66? Less than 66. The 66 is located right here. That is this entire section. Remember, this is 25%, this is 25%, this section is 25, and this section is 25. So it is both of these 2 sections, so therefore this is 50%. Again, what percent have no more than 74? So no more than 74 is going to be 25%. What percent have between 50 and 59? 50 and 59. So that's this whisker right here. So therefore, that's 25%. What percent have between 60 and 90, 66 and 92? 66, 92. That's half of the box and the upper whisker. So that's 50%. Notice all of these are in the 25, 50, or so forth. All right, here we go. Oh, wait a minute, I did this one wrong. What percent have a resting heart rate of, no more than. That means it's got to be less than 74. I did greater than. No more than means I want less than or equal to 74, which means this should be 75%. I read it as more than. Got to pay attention to that wording. Remember, it's just nothing but a disguised reading test. All right, moving on. Moving down to number 5. Okay, this is where we're just looking at analyzing the picture. So it says the box and whisker plot below shows the test scores for a group of 24 students. What is the median score? Remember, this right here is my median, so the median score is 80. What percent of the students scored between 70 and 85? That's 70 and 85. That's the box. That's 50%. How many students scored between 45 and 85%? You don't know how many students, because we cannot get exact data from here, but we can give a percentage. Okay, so between 45 and 85, that is from here to here. So therefore, that is 75%. If Kate got an 87, how did she do compared to the rest of the class? So she had an 87. So that's going to be about here. Okay. This would place 87 would place Kate in the upper 25% of her class, scoring better than 75% of her classmates. One more, guys. Number 9. It says, Mr. Athens, it's Mrs. Gilman have the same tests to their, gave the same tests to their classes. The scores of each class are shown below. So now we're comparing to. What is the difference in the median score? Difference, that means I've got to find each median and then subtract. So I'm going to have Mrs. Athens is 80, Mrs. Gilman's is 75. So I'm doing, and yes, you have to show that work, 80 minus 75, which is 5. Which class had the greater range? That means I have to find each range. No, I don't actually, because I can just look. Mrs. Athens is got a lower minimum and a higher maximum. So the actual spread of the picture is bigger. So we can write off, say, Mrs. Athens class. Which class do you feel did better overall? Your answers may be different here, but when I'm looking at this, Mrs. Gilman's class is a little bit better when you look at this. And so one example could be Mrs. G's class did better. Her minimum score was 60, where Mrs. A's class only had 75% score (16) or higher. Just remember, when you're talking about comparing or anything like that, you've got to have a verbal explanation. Okay, your assignment is to finish the notes and the classwork homework. Have a great day.